Hey, this Motel Granite the Great, and I was just inspired by um, Prodigy, Mr. Albert Johnson, who was born in 1974, I believe, as Prodigy from Mobb Deep. And let me say this real quick: I would love to have seen an album with Prodigy and Corrupt from the Dog Pound, two prolific young men who spit a street detailed saga uh, infested with horror stories and upliftment in a very sophisticated manner. But in his interview, Prodigy, who was 42 at the time, he passed away not too long ago. He was talking to a therapist, and he talked about him in pain being a unit. And he was claiming the pain, and at one point, when he was young as well, he didn't believe in God. Felt like if God existed, he would take this pain away. So he was telling the therapist when he was 26 that he had an experience, and he saw in his room one night a black figure, a shadow, go across his room. And he said it looked like a Spider-Man. But he said it was, that when the figure went by, he said, I was definitely afraid. And he said he covered up until he was able to go to sleep. The next morning he woke up. He said, I was awakened by pain. And he said his body was riddled with pain. And he said, I knew exactly what it was at that point. He said, I had to be carried to the hospital. This is Prodigy from Mobb Deep. For anybody who don't know who Prodigy is, shout out to Mobb Deep. He said he started learning, and he asked God, if you are real, give me a witness and show me a sign. And he said that his girlfriend, or either wife at that time, became a witness to one night they was together in their room and all the lights was out on the street. And he saw this white light mixed in with these multiple colors of light shining in through his window. Now everything else is pitch black. He said there was no sound, just these lights. And he had witnessed some form of a UFO. His wife or girlfriend was a witness. This was when he really started believing what God was saying. He talked about one time Havoc, who's the other half of Mobb Deep. They said it was a figure that was walking around the projects in New York looking for Prodigy. And friends and people would say, hey man, we don't know where he's at, we haven't seen him. A white guy who looked like Jesus Christ was walking around looking for Prodigy and saying, I got a message for him. I got a message. And the Jesus Christ figure made his way to Havoc's house looking for Prodigy, knocks on the door. Havoc's brother opens the door, and points an automatic weapon in his face. The Jesus Christ figure says, hey, I don't mean no harm. I just got a message for Prodigy. Tell Prodigy that everything is all right, that his music and things that he has accomplished is good. Continue being himself. The therapist chimed in and said, why don't you just embrace who you are? Embrace this. Go out and be a beacon of light to other people, and almost from a, this is my words, a braggadocious standpoint or a very confident standpoint, walk with pride and a ton of confidence that God has selected you as a prodigy. Now, I mix that part in. Very powerful on YouTube. Prodigy passed not too long after that, I believe. But he, I think, left the therapist with the mindset that I need to embrace what I've been going through and be a positive person for everybody else. Tupac took a major shot at Prodigy attacking the sickle cell anemia, and I'm sure he's heard other people do it, and he seemed to have risen past all of the doubters, the haters. Something else that he said that was significant. He said that he was told that he has been here before more than one time. That this is some type of a repeat for him. This is excellent. This is not a story. This is the real life of Prodigy, but this is a spiritual one, and this is good news. And I am in love with good news. So this is about Prodigy and the good news of him now transcending and, in my belief, being in heaven and now with God, and there's no more doubting and there's no more question marks. So this is good news. This is Motell, Granite the Great. I love y'all. Let there be light.